Have you ever wanted to make your own model train layout? In this video, I'll show you how I made mine, a small-scale version of my hometown, Stafford Springs, Connecticut. After a trip to a model train show, I was hooked. Seeing all the detail, the craftsmanship, and the stories you can tell in miniature, I knew I had to try it myself. Since space was limited, I chose Z-scale, 220 times smaller than real life. It's the smallest of the model train scales at the time, which means you can fit a lot in a little space. I started with a simple starter set, a locomotive, a few cars, some track, and a transformer. Z-scale isn't cheap, and accessories are hard to come by, but that just made it all the more rewarding to build from scratch. The train that runs through my town inspired the layout. I studied old maps and satellite photos. This was before Google Maps became what it is today, and drew the layout to scale in CAD. That helped me plan the track, the buildings, and the overall size. Step 1 was the stand. I built the cabinet from mahogany, with raised panel doors and scratch-beaded columns. The top is hinged so I can access all the electronics underneath. There's room for the control panel and all the switches that bring the town to life. The layout sits on a 2-inch foam panel. That's where I started carving out the landscape, the river, the bridge, and the roads. Stafford has a lot of character. The Christopher Allen Bridge, built in 1912, was one of my favorite details. I used plaster and wood to recreate its stone arches. Then I laid down cork for the track base and planted a little bit of grass to bring color to the scene. Stafford has some beautiful old buildings, full of architectural detail. But how do you recreate them in Z-scale? I took photos of every angle I could. Cleaned them up in Photoshop and scaled them down, sometimes by counting the bricks. Each facade was printed and glued onto small wooden blocks. Then I added details: chimneys, roof stones, awnings, and store signs. These are true photoreal buildings, each one taken from real photos of Stafford's Main Street. Some of those businesses are gone forever now. You can still see the items in the hardware store window, frozen in time from the day I took that photo. This layout is truly a snapshot in time. The church was a real challenge with all its angles. The roundabout fountain was another favorite detail. The oldest continuously used roundabout in North America, from 1894. Back in the day, they'd water their horses there. I cut it from a single piece of wood. Here's the actual size, next to a penny, just to show the scale. Now for the control panel. The train's speed control is on the far left, forward and reverse. There are 4 track switches, each with red and green indicators showing which track the trains will run. Here are some of the switch relays that make them work. The yellow switch controls the bridge and park lights. Back then, each Z-scale park light was about $20, and they're the size of a grain of rice. The green switch turns on the sound system, something I built myself. Using a Hallmark photo album, I rewired it to my switches and 2 speakers. It can hold 10 sound clips, 15 seconds each. I recorded real sounds from the town, the whistle and bell, the rumble of the tracks, and even the chime of the church clock tower. I remember as a kid hearing the train coming through town in the middle of the night, with that far-off whistle. When the train rolls through this layout, it doesn't just look like Stafford Springs, it sounds like it too. But I wanted more movement than just the train, so I figured out how to make cars move down Main Street. I cut up Main Street and installed a motor with a chain and gears. On the chain, I mounted small magnets, and inside each car, 2 tiny magnets. That's how the cars drive down Main Street. It took plenty of trial and error and a few sacrificed roads, but it was worth it. When the train crosses an infrared sensor, the crossing lights turn on automatically. One thing that isn't true to the real town is the mountain at the top of Main Street. Hidden inside is a programmable message clock I built into the hill, just to add a little extra animation. This project became more than a model. It's a way to preserve the look, the feel, and even the sound of Stafford Springs. I hope you enjoyed this tour of my Stafford Z-scale layout. If you did, let me know what you think in the comments, and maybe share a story about your own hometown. Until next time, keep building, keep creating, and keep the stories of your town alive.